I'm here to find out if driving fun and family practicality can coexist. Let's get to it. Responsible adults don't have to be dull as dirt. Looking for a car with personality, one that's fun to drive, hauls the entire brood, and doesn't require a diet of top ramen 5 days a week? Few cars tick all those boxes better than the Hyundai Sonata N-Line. For starters, it brings concept car level design to the driveway in a world where the average vehicle goes for $40,000. This one, fully loaded, retails for $34,500. And if your commute includes roads like this, well, I'll get to that in a minute or two. Nice that Hyundai is showing sedan fans a little bit of love. Not everything is about SUVs and crossovers these days. And remember, there are other front-wheel drive sedans that can be ordered up on the frisky side. Honda Accord, Toyota Camry, Mazda 6, and sister Kia K5, for example. So there are choices. Compared to the standard Sonata, N-Line gets real upgrades, not just badges. The suspension has been massaged, brakes are larger by nearly an inch up front, a full one in back. Side skirts and the rear diffuser are functional. $200 buys summer performance rubber, the only real option other than fancy paint at $350. The well-bolstered chairs with Napa leather and Dynamica suede inserts are heated and standard. What the N-Line is really offering is power. Compared to the 1.6-liter turbo in many Sonatas, there's 110 additional horsepower under the hood. This turbocharged 2.5-liter four-cylinder makes 290 horses and 311 pound-feet of torque, which is up by 116, and the N only weighs 216 pounds more than a Sonata Limited. I like the extra gauges that can be called up in the virtual cluster. Cogs are swapped with an 8-speed wet dual-clutch transmission that's unique to the N-Line, and yes, full control is a thing. The dampers are not adjustable, but throttle, transmission mapping, and steering weight are. You might switch modes just to get the cluster show. I'm easily amused. This is a powerful front-wheel drive car. 0 to 60 runs happen in about 5 seconds flat. Being front-wheel drive, there's the possibility of torque steer, the tugging of the wheel under hard acceleration. Let's find out. Yeah, it pulls a little bit to the left. Nothing dramatic, though. Buy the N-Line, and you're going in knowing that it has a front drive dynamic. It's the most powerful front-wheel drive sedan Hyundai's ever produced. So how much fun is the N-Line to drive on a twisty-turny road? Well, let me throw out some technical jargon. Gobs and gobs, tons and tons. It's a blast to throw into a corner. Yeah, it does have a front-wheel drive dynamic. There's no getting around that, but it is very entertaining on a road like this. To be clear, this is not a track car. It's an N-Line, not a full-on N car. And Sonata is large, which is great for roominess, but it doesn't have that nimble, wearable jetpack kind of feeling. That said, and this is apples to oranges, but a base Miata RF costs about the same. Considering that body roll and dive are very well controlled in this car, and the suspension is a bit on the stiff side, it's kind of surprising. The N-Line remains pretty darn comfortable. You might hear sharp bumps coming through the chassis, but you don't really feel them. Kudos to the chassis team. You really don't need adjustable dampers, and the cabin is fairly quiet. This is a dual-clutch transmission, and shifts are quick, but not eye-blink fast like a Porsche PDK. This is a lot less expensive, though, that's for sure. There's a solid suite of active electronic safety tech, things like adaptive cruise control, rear cross-traffic alert, blind spot warning and avoidance, plus automatic emergency braking with pedestrian and cyclist detection. Speaking of the binders. Remember, brakes are upgraded. Let's check them out. Good modulation. The roads are a little bit damp, and these are summer performance tires. Not exactly optimal for wet roads like today. The 2.5-liter turbo pulls hard, torque comes on early in the rev range, and stays strong for passing on two-lane roads like this. And that's running on specified regular grade gas, something that the Hyundai engineering team strives for. Fill up with premium, and there's a solid chance more oomph is on tap. If you're concerned about fuel economy, the EPA-rated average of the N-Line is 27 miles per gallon, not bad for a performance car. And odd for a modern vehicle, it doesn't have an automatic engine stop-start system. Those are getting pretty good. Still, some buyers are looking to avoid that dynamic. You know who you are. Choose from 7 paint colors. All of them come with this interior. Hyundai calls it black. I'm seeing it as gray. There are small accents, nicely executed, and more stitching than found in a pair of Levi's, all set in crimson to set the sporty tone. You might think you're driving a Bose. There are more of these than Hyundai logos. The 12-speaker system, which is standard, sounds pretty good, and includes ambient sounds, like rain. And suddenly I need to find a rest stop. The unique wheel is thick, grippy, and heated. There are places to stash things all over the cabin. You don't need an SUV to get room for storage. Most of it is the normal kind. There are a few clever touches. Really, you'll want to keep the phone on the Qi wireless charger, though. A note on that, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay aren't wireless, but they are standard. A reminder that phone as key is a thing, but only for Android users, at least for now. Hyundai's user interface is solid with an intuitive layout and enough hard buttons and redundancy to make life easy. It's touchscreen only if you despise fingerprints. Also, for those that drive at night a lot, there's this. The ambiance is better than some luxury brands. This looks very familiar. Haven't we done this generation Sonata before? Yeah, but this is the sporty one, which is code for I will get very carsick if I ride with him. We've been through this before, so I'll make this brief. It's really roomy back here at 5'9", head, knee, leg, and foot room. Very generous. Cushions are high enough so that thigh support is fine. Door openings are big enough so that if you want to get your children car sick, you can get car seats in and out of here, no sweat. And a pet peeve of mine, no pocket here. What's up, Hyundai? No separate climate zone. Hey, at least I can charge my phone. Heated seats back here? Not available. The center spine is not too big. Really, you could get 3 adults back here just fine. They shouldn't complain. And if they do, tell them to order up an Uber. I'm a fan of Sonata's liquid lines. I still think the attorneys at Coca-Cola should sue for copyright infringement over the swoopy ribbon that cuts through the flanks. The fender to hood line is much slimmer than most modern sedans. It gives the front a lighter, leaner look. I wonder why more automakers don't take Hyundai's lead in eliminating the hood seam normally happening here. The lasso that rings the greenhouse and thrusts into the headlamps is an inspired line. The fade from chrome to illumination in the DRLs is a great detail. The premium brands don't even do that. Glad to see the design team take risks. There's a lot of fun for the eyes happening on this car. You all know that Hyundai doesn't do the kick-to-open tailgate thing. You just simply stand next to it with the fob in your pocket or purse, and boom, it just opens. You can turn that off if you don't like it. There's room to stash things not used often, like a jump pack. I highly recommend having one of those on hand. Nice to see remote releases, but you do have to crawl way in to push it down. I'll point out that there's no ski pass-through for flexibility. Sonata is rated as a full-size car by the EPA. The trunk is average in size at 16 cubic feet. It's common to pack 6 bundles of my measurement metric into a sedan like Camry and Accord. Need more room? I'll join the crowd and buy a crossover. Let's get to red light, green light. Green light. Sonata N-Line is a gift for people that enjoy driving but need a roomy, practical sedan. The price is typical Hyundai, there's serious bang for the buck here, and Sonata's sheet metal is one of the most voluptuous shapes on the road, regardless of price. Yellow lights? The dual-clutch transmission's shifts are well calibrated, just not eye-blink quick like some might expect. I find the black interior to be more gray and a bit blah-looking overall. Driving dynamics are excellent, but it won't make rear drive enthusiasts happy. Red lights? All I can come up with is a smidge of torque steer that happens under hard launch. It's not like the wheels wrestled away though, it's mild. In short, Sonata N-Line is a solid piece of sporty sculpture that will make a lot of owners happy. So if you have a family and you're an enthusiast, the Sonata N-Line is a really good choice. It's roomy, it's comfortable, and fun to drive. There are rear drive choices though. Kia Stinger, Dodge Charger, maybe even Chrysler 300. All that, and there's Hyundai's excellent warranty, 5 years, 60,000 miles bumper to bumper, 10 years or 100,000 miles on the powertrain. Sonata N-Line is a balanced package that has the ability to make the entire family happy. No compromise necessary. Thanks to Martin Campbell for driving duties so I can shoot running footage. We spent some extra time on the Sonata because conditions were right. Some cars are fun to shoot. This is one of them, and priced some $6,000 under the average transaction price of a new vehicle. Kind of a steal. I'll remind you that I've started up a price quote service, and I did it because I found a lot of people don't understand the car buying process, and it's not easy. Some manufacturers set MSRP very high, so the dealership has a lot of room to dicker. Others don't, and you don't understand that until you get real world pricing, okay? You can use my service, you can use another one like, say, cars.com. But do your research and get real world pricing. And as I always say, test drive at least 3 different vehicles. Cars are expensive these days. Get your money's worth, all right? I just care too much. I don't know why. I do. A sad footnote to this story. Every so often, equipment gets damaged. This was the last shot my drone took. Moments after this, it wigged out and flew into a tree. Finally wised up and bought the insurance. And then there's my GoPro. Know why I always have 2 on hand? Well, there you go. So I can keep shooting after things like this. But it survived. These things are tough. The mount was damaged more than the camera. And finally, back to ambient sounds in the Bose system. I figured the coffee shop was kind of silly, but a year into the pandemic, don't we all long for this sound? And listen to the voices. There are people talking, can't figure out what the language is, or if it's just gibberish. Anyhow, that's the kind of stuff I pay attention to, for better or for worse. This is the end of the video, and people that subscribe to this channel know it's where I usually deliver a fun fact. This time, it's what the N in N-Line means. Apparently, it's Nürburgring, which is what inspired this car, and Namyang, the proving grounds where this car was developed, in part by Albert Biermann, formerly of BMW M-Car fame. Once we reach herd immunity, you can use that fun fact at your next party. It'll be an absolute riot. Depends on the party, I suppose, and the crowd. Thanks for watching, folks. Remember to subscribe. That's Driven. I'm Tom Voelk.